guys, or should I say Kalispera. Excuse the noise from the aircon and the traffic, but I am currently in Thessaloniki, the second biggest city in Greece. In this video I will take you along to the most beautiful beaches of northern Greece. This region is a lot less crowded and cheaper than the famous Greek islands. Hey guys, it is now our last evening in Nikiti, and the reason why I didn't film arriving here was because I was kind of disappointed. Out of all the places we're staying, this is the least luxurious, just the most basic. I'm staying literally in the same room as my parents, which I don't mind because I'm used to staying in hostels, and we've been traveling and staying together for years and years now. But also, even though it's super close to the beach, the balcony that we have does not look out on the beach, and I kind of was expecting it because of the pictures that they had online. And it just took us hours and hours to find a nice place for 5 people to stay that wasn't a 4-people apartment with a sleeping couch. I'm fine with sleeping on sleeping couches because I can sleep anywhere, anytime. I just took a great nap in the car. But previously, when we were staying in Crete, we went out and bought a mattress, like an air mattress to play in the ocean with, for me to sleep on because it was so terrible. And because we were staying in Nikiti for 5 nights, which is the longest amount of time that we would spend in one place on this holiday, I really wanted to stay in a proper bed. And also we were planning to spend a lot of time in the ocean here. So for 5 people to shower every single night, we really wanted each family to have their own bathroom because it would take us ages to all get ready. So that really slimmed down the possible places we could stay. And that's why I would advise you to just look for your own accommodation in this region. However, I'm quite happy with the location in itself. We are staying in Nikiti, which is just at the top of the middle finger of Chalkidiki, and it made it possible for us to visit Kassandra, the western finger of Chalkidiki, on the first day that we were here. And if you can skip it, I would just skip it. It's just resorts and it's one very long beach. As we drove from Nikiti to Kassandra, we drove past a huge line of cars driving into Sithonia, the middle finger. This region seems to be one big olive tree plantation, and we saw the biggest olive oil factory that we've ever come across. After getting a frappe, we made our way to the Agios Mamas March. The wetlands are home to over 215 bird species, and many of those are rare or endangered. Sometimes you can even see flamingos here. Unfortunately, it was currently dried up, but we still managed to see a lot of colorful bee-eaters and hop living in the olive trees. We then continued our way along the coast to the left finger, and we were met by another traffic jam. Bear in mind, we have never been in a single traffic jam in all of Greece in about 20 years. So this is quite strange for us. From what we could see, this part of Chalkidiki didn't have much character. It all seemed quite commercial. We ended up on a nice beach called Glarokavos Beach, but as snorkelers, this wasn't really what we were looking for. We noticed immediately that these beaches are very clean though. We then stumbled onto some beach bars with lots of Porsches parked at it, so also not really our vibe. So we continued our way into the mountains, and I had the best pasticcio ever at Limonis Tavern. Eventually we stopped at one of the first beaches we saw just past Nea Fokea, which we had all to ourselves, but the water was full of jellyfish. They were harmless, but still a bit scary. We ended the day sharing a giant pizza at Capri Nuovo in Nikiti. The second day we explored Sithonia, which is the finger that we are on, the middle finger. And I really think that this is, for us, people who like remote bays to go snorkeling in, this is really the best place to stay. However, having seen all of Chalkidiki now, I would preferably stay closer to Vourvourou or the south of the finger, just because I think that the beaches are nicer there. Straight off the bat, we had a very different impression of Sithonia compared to Kassandra. The whole coast wasn't lined with hotels, so we found plenty of empty beaches, especially in this part of the region. We then continued through the mountains, passing goat farms, and arrived at the tip of the finger in Koufo. This bay was calm and there was a small port, some tavernas, and a quiet beach. We stopped for a bite and some refreshments and then drove down a dirt road to the very tip of Sithonia. Here we stumbled upon a very local beach. We then made our way to what I assumed would be the best beaches of Chalkidiki. We drove past Ammouliani Beach and Kalamitsi and arrived in Sikia. If you like a sandy beach, this one's for you. But we continued driving along the cliffs, passing by Tourkolimnionas to Tigania beach. This is Greece in one video. You have a beautiful beach to one side and then the mountains full of goats on the other side. This is by far my favorite part of Chalkidiki so far. The most beautiful beaches with little to no people and in the background a view of Mount Athos. After some snorkeling on a beach away from the beach bars, we then drove back passing Sikia again and heading north towards Vourvourou. A bit further than Vourvourou is Ormos Panagias. You can also find some taverns on the beach for dinner here. Good morning! Today we are going sea kayaking, and if you've seen my previous videos, we've already done this last year in Greece, and also I've done this in Cape Town, and it's one of my all-time favorite activities. The kayak tour would take us to Diaporos island in front of Vourvourou, and we started from Chalkidiki beach. First we got some instructions and then we were off. The color of the water here is so beautiful. On our first stop, our guide took us up to have a great view and take some pictures of us. It quickly became clear that in this region, the activity that gets sold the most is renting a small boat for a day and going around the island exploring the beaches. We definitely preferred these beaches to anything we had seen before. You didn't even need to snorkel to see the fish at your feet. We are making a couple of stops on the beaches on the island, and now we are at the second stop, and I've got my snorkel gear to go and explore a bit. The previous beach we could just see the fish swim just from outside of the water, and now I'm going to take the plunge. Overall, there wasn't a lot to be seen across Chalkidiki when it came to snorkeling, but the water is so warm, calm, clear and clean that it's really hard not to enjoy your swim. After a great swim, we are off again to the third and last stop. They brought us some snacks and also some water and drinks to have. The third and last stop was on a smaller island halfway on our way back from where we had a great view. I mean, look at the color of the water. And then after almost 8 kilometers, we were back at Chalkidiki beach. I was tired and hungry, so time for my sandwich and a nap. And the location here also made it possible to visit the third finger, which you can only visit by boat. And from the boat you can see all of the monasteries that are located in this region of Chalkidiki, where women can't set foot on land. We started our boat tour at 11 a.m. in Uranoupoli. This was over an hour away from Nikiti. On board, they had a bar, but also toilets, and it even had a glass bottom, which would be fun later on during the trip. We arrived a bit late, oops, so the front of the boat was full already. However, going in the direction of Mount Athos, we were sitting in the shade instead, which was great. At first, I thought that all the way in the back, my chances of seeing dolphins were smaller, but turned out I had a front row seat. Through the speakers, everything was explained in multiple languages, and only 45 minutes into the tour, the dolphins popped up already. Like I said, I couldn't have been in a better spot to watch them play in the waves. I was very surprised by how colorful and beautiful this monastery was. But to my surprise, that's when we turned back instead of going to the tip of Mount Athos. Apparently, they only go to the very tip when the island is not included in the tour. And I wasn't aware of this, so I was quite disappointed. However, I quickly forgot about my disappointment when we arrived at Ammouliani Island. This is where the glass bottom boat served its purpose. As we were passing over the reef around the islands, we could see a lot more than I expected we would, like yellow corals and lots of blackfish. This is also a popular place to rent a boat for the day and explore the beaches. We then arrived at Chalkidiki Beach, where we had time to eat something and go for a snorkel. We had taken our equipment with us on the boat. Then we arrived back in Uranoupoli and drove back along the coast, passing a viewpoint between the right and middle finger of Chalkidiki. You can also take this big pirate ship from Ormos Panagias, so you don't have to drive all this way. We ended our time in Chalkidiki well, up in the old town of Nikiti, away from the busy boulevard where there is only one shop and the amazing and cozy Platanos Restaurant and Cocktail Bar. In the next video, we explore my favorite Greek city, Thessaloniki. Don't forget to check out my previous videos about the monasteries in Meteora and our treasure hunt in the Pindos mountain range. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to definitely see my next videos. I would love for you to join me on my trip through Andalusia, Spain later this month. So I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!